Hi, and welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Experience, the Targeted Individual Program. As you guys can see, I am wearing my glasses, and the reason why is because I'm being uh, heavily microwave, uh, been under a lot of remote neural monitoring, and so it has caused my eyesight to get worse. Now, normally when I'm sitting in front of the computer, I don't wear my glasses. It is a 27-inch screen, so it's large enough to where I can see the text at the distance where I'm sitting. Because of the remote neural monitoring and being microwave, my eyesight has gotten worse. And this is with, be, between the last week and a half. Okay, so I think the last video I did was either on the 19th or 20th. Today is the 30th of July 2019, and so heavy remote neural monitoring, heavy microwaving, particularly with my kids, my son, who now have been conditioned to when I speak to him in a firm tone, uh, when he's doing something that I don't like and I tell him to stop, he will stick his middle finger out at me, and he will do the hand signal, and again, it's trigger warning, and he will do this, okay? Or he starts playing with his hair on his head as I'm talking to him. So he has been conditioned in that way now. And I've said it before that within the school system, they are conditioning our children. And not just through the educational process in terms of their subject matter, but this is deep psychological, one on one program conditioning. Okay? Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but recently, let me go find the article. Um, okay. Okay, so in Italy, okay, you guys can see here, this is from the Guardian. Italian police arrest 18 for allegedly brainwashing and selling children. People were made to believe that they had been sexually abused and were sold to foster parents. So when you hear these uh, people within the government that says that brainwashing doesn't work, coercive persuasion um, doesn't work, or there is no such thing, or they try to minimize it and say, yes, there is some sort of coercive persuasion, but it's not at a level in which you can brainwash somebody or coerce somebody into doing something or into admitting that they commit a crime or something. And we know that's not true. Okay? But this is what those in the authoritative position are telling the general public. And even though we know that's not true, the general public tend to believe it. Okay? Because again, the general public does not realize that they have been conditioned themselves to just accept these things as um, as truth and facts because those in the authoritative position told them so, even though there is evidence to show and prove otherwise. Okay, so Italian police have arrested 18 people, including a mayor, doctor, and social workers, for allegedly brainwashing vulnerable children into thinking their parents had abused them so they could be sold to foster parents. Police in the northern city of Reggio Emilia made the arrest after an investigation started in 2018 revealed an alleged network of carers who used methods including electroshocks to make children believe they had been sexually abused. The network then alleged then allegedly gave the children to foster families in exchange for cash, while keeping gifts and letters sent to the children by their real parents hidden in a warehouse where that was discovered by police. The alleged abuse was reported by Italian media and confirmed by AFP by police in Babiano near Reggio Emilia on Thursday. These accusations, if confirmed, are frightening and shocking, says Giuseppe Conte, the Italian Prime Minister at the G20 meeting in Japan. The accused, include psychotherapists working for a social work association in Moncelleria near Turin and the mayor of Babiano. To brainwash the children, those arrested allegedly forged childlike drawings with sexual connotations and used electroshock therapy as a little memory machine to create fake abuse memories, while the therapists are accused of dressing up as wicked children's story characters. The investigation, codenamed Angels and Demons, revealed a scheme to pass off as a model welfare system for abused minors that was in reality an illegal business to the children's detriment, La Repubblica newspapers reported. According to investigators, the aim of the arrested group was to take children away from families in difficult social situations and give them for money to other parents, said the Corriere della Sera newspaper. Some of the foster parents have been accused of sexually abusing the children they paid money for, according to La Repubblica. Police declined to say how many children were involved or of what age. Hundreds of thousands of euros were involved, Italian media reported. So tell me, right, that when I talk about my kids being brainwashed in these schools because these teachers in there, they are religious fanatics, okay? Because they'll up in there and they'll walk around there talking about God and all this stuff, which they're not supposed to do because, again, the separation of church and state. But these people do whatever they want to do, okay? And me being a target individual, being targeted by religious organization, okay, who who have members within the local and state police department, within the federal government, okay, within the security agencies, who are developing mind control technologies in order to control people, right? And in some cases, convert them into their belief of Christianity, right? Or belief of a God, right? And so this is a multicultural, multi-ethnic uh, cult, okay? And this is a massive cult, right? Which involve, um, you know, people of all walks of life. And again, a lot of them are being influenced by mind control technologies, such as microwave, RF frequency, um, another microwave frequencies. Okay, and so like I said, recently my son, my 10-year-old, started doing these things. My eldest started doing it also when he was a little bit younger than Ethan. the sticking the middle finger out and stuff like that. When he was younger and he's watching something on TV, and he would say, "Daddy, look at this," and then he would use his middle finger and he would touch the television screen. Okay, and this was happening quite regular. Okay, because he never did that before, and then all of a sudden he started doing this, and he continued to do it up until this day. And so, just recognizing that, right? Then the using Pam also. Me and her were broken up, you know, and she was like, "Oh, she needs a break and to uh, sort out herself." Which I know it's BS. I broke up with her basically because I found uh, messages and pictures in which she was sending her ex lover, and this was going on for years. Okay, um, I remember in 2013, 2014, I was sitting on the couch, and her phone was on the ottoman, and her phone started chiming, and it lit up. So naturally I looked down, and it was a text from her ex lover. Apparently, she has been visiting him, and he said to her, your butt looked nice. I wanted to grab it." And her response was, "Well, you could have if you wanted to. Why didn't you?" Okay, while in a relationship with me. And she was going to school. And I was helping her while she was going to school, right? Helping to pay some of her bills, paying the kids, the babysitter, uh, on top of paying my bills, stuff like that, giving her money so she can have bus fare, train fare, lunch, all that stuff, right? Buying her clothes, all this stuff. Now, I'm not, you know, saying that to brag about it, but just to let you guys know, what I did to support her in her going to school, right? So I bought her a laptop, bought her a tablet, you know, supported her and her dreams. And so anyway, so I spoke to her about it because I was like, "Listen, what is this?" And then she said, "Well, we're just friends, and it's just, it's just flirting and stuff like that." And I told her, I said, "Listen, I don't appreciate that. If you're in a relationship with me, respect the relationship and respect me, right?" So we talked about it. She was like, she's sorry, and I thought that was it. Okay, well, it wasn't. So fast forward 2 years later, I found, she started acting very bizarre, and the red flags started going up. And then I found that she was talking bad about me in terms of my targeting with her ex and her friends, and telling them that I was crazy, and you know, um, and she only uh, need me to watch the kids, so that's why she puts up with me and stuff like that for the most part. And I was like, wow, because despite of my targeting, and there are times when she comes in and they will manipulate her into targeting me, or maybe at this point I'm thinking that they, you know, she was fully aware of my targeting, but to see that, right, what she thinks of me, okay. So here's someone who I told about I was being experimented on, and I was microchipped, and it had caused me great psychological harm. And I said, when I ask you to stop doing certain things, you get defensive and get upset, and you start crying and saying, "I'm not doing anything." And instead of you just saying, "Nigel, I understand what you're going through, but I'm not doing anything. If I'm doing something, let me know, and I'll be aware and try not to do it in your presence, right? I mean, that's what I would do. Okay, but of course she didn't really love me, but that's what I would do, and I do this with other TIs also. You know what I'm saying? To let them know that, hey, you know what? I hear you. If you think I'm targeting you, let me know so that way I'll be aware of the things that I'm doing that triggers you. Okay? But not her. So, so we used to get into a lot of heated arguments, and there are times I just leave, take my stuff and go home. And, I just said to her, listen, these are just periods that I need to cool off. Okay? You understand? I mean, not you understand. You know it is what I'm going through because I told you. Okay? But it's hard. And I told her too, I said, listen, I know, it's hard being involved with someone who is a targeted individual. Okay? It is very hard. And I said to her, despite of everything that I've found out that she was doing, I always tell her, I said, listen, I still appreciate you for, putting up with some of the stuff that was going on with me. Because at times, I was suffering from a lot of PTSD, and I would get triggered very easily. And we've been in a relationship for like 11 years, so it's a long time. Probably half of those 11 years um, is, I think, in the beginning, the first couple of years, she really cared about me and even loved me. But after that, you know, because again, even during those periods, she was still going and visit her ex on the weekend that she doesn't have the kids. Now we don't live together, but I'm here at her house the majority of the time, right? Um, and so, you know, when it's my weekend for the kids, I take the kids over to my house, and then my oldest will come down, and we'll spend the weekend together. And then on Sunday, I'll take my oldest home, and then I'll take the other two kids by Pam, and we'll stay here, until the next weekend when it's my weekend to be by myself. But I'll still be here, all right, to help her out, all right. So this is the stuff that I was doing. Even on my weekend when I needed my rest because of my target and that I needed to, you know, recuperate from the psychological harassment and from the directed energy attacks, the microwaving and stuff like that. I still choose to be here to help her out with the kids because, she has very low energy, so she's tired all the time. All right. So that's what I did. I gave up the majority of my time for myself to be here with her, with the kids, on her weekend with the kids. And so, find all the stuff out. So I confronted her again and I said, listen, I've talked to you about this, okay? And you're doing it again. And she was like, well, it's only flirting. I'm not sleeping with him or anything like that. And I was like, I don't know that. When I find out that the at the time when you were going to school, that on your weekend without the kids, you would go over to his house. And then she was like, well, I went over there because it was quiet over there, and he, it's quiet over at his house, and we just talk. That's it. Okay, so you're telling me you're going over to your ex-lover's house, a person that you had a relationship with but didn't claim you as a girlfriend, and you were in this relationship for a few years. Then he got a girlfriend and kick you to the curb, but yet you remain friends with that individual, and at a point where me and you are in a relationship, and regardless of whatever we're going through, you go over to his house. So the times when we were good, you were still going over to his house, right? You know what I'm saying? So I talked to her about that. I said, she was like, so I was like, okay, Pamela, you know, if you say nothing happened, you know what I'm saying? And I think I, the reason why I wanted to believe nothing happened is because, again, am I targeting? And this is what they do, is that they send you subliminal message about not finding a significant other, right? So if you go to what a coercive persuasion is, mind control tactics. One of the things that they do, okay, and is to intimidate you, right? With the force of group sanctioned secular psychological threats. For example, it may be suggested or implied that failure to adopt the approved attitude, belief, or consequent behavior will lead to severe punishment or dire consequences, such as physical or mental illness, the reappearance of a prior physical illness, drug dependence, economic collapse, social failure, divorce, disintegration, and failure to find a mate. And so, and on top of that, I love this woman. Like, I love her dearly, you know, and, trying to keep our family apart, I mean, together, not apart, together. And it was hard. It's top of my target, okay? Because even when I was seeing a therapist and I was on medication, I was still being targeted, okay? I was still being targeted. And then I realized that what the medication was doing to me, and after doing the research, learning about the medication, that it causes all sorts of problem. And for me, it was a bloated stomach. So I used to work out no matter what I did, eat right, my stomach will constantly be bloated, and it was hard. Okay, so even with the medication, I was still being targeted, right? And I wasn't on the medication thinking that that this was in my mind. I was on the medication because it helped me to sleep and it helped to slow down my thinking when we were being microwaved in the house. Okay, that was it. But it didn't stop the targeting, and it didn't stop the the negative emotional effect, the negative psychological effect of what was being done to me. Okay, so this was what was happening. So like I said, then again with Pam, and again this was this year, and everything was going good. And I kept asking her. What I started to do too, I stopped last year. Um, I stopped accusing her of targeting me because I realized it didn't make any sense. It didn't make a difference. So I stopped doing that. Plus, if it triggers her and where she gets defensive, and either she'll get upset or she'll start crying. So I said, okay, let me not do that. Let me stop that. And and then again, after finding out a lot more about this program, you get to understand, right, that a big part of this program is what is called silent sound spread spectrum. And I've been knew about it, but regardless of whether you know about it or not, it will affect you because you have no defense mechanism against this. You really don't. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I try to, you know, try to detach my feelings from her, I couldn't. That's what happened when you love somebody. You love them, and I'm the type of person that if I love you, I'll let you know, and I'm not gonna hide it until the day when I stop loving you. Then what I'm saying. But up until that point, you'll know that I love you, right? And so, like, I've tried detachment, that didn't quite work, and I'm trying it again, okay? But I've also started watching videos on narcissistic personalities because I realized that not only um, some of the things that I was doing that had a direct relation to what was happening to me in terms of the psychological programming that was creating within me some narcissistic trait. Okay, and I also saw in Pamela, because of they're using her to target me, that she had developed a lot of these narcissistic personality trait, right? And so, I tried to bring it to her attention, and she was like, "I'm not narcissistic," and I said to her, I said, "Listen, I'm not saying that you're a full blown narcissist, but we all have some narcissistic tendencies and narcissistic trait, and that's just a fact. When we're living in the world that we're living in, okay, narcissism is a regular, normal way that most people mindset are. Okay, now some people, when I say narcissism, I should let me uh, correct that. But we all have some narcissistic trait. Now, from a scale of 1 to 10, right? You could be a 2, a 3, a 4, but you're not considered to be a narcissist, right? Now, if you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up at the higher you go, you become a full blown narcissist. And this is what was happening with her and the stuff that she was doing and with me, lying to me and telling me such. And, um, we used to constantly do the push pull thing in terms of in a relationship. When I'm trying to be affectionate, she would not be. When she tried to be affectionate, I would not be because of the way I was being targeted, and she wouldn't be because of my behavior, because of how I was targeted. But even though all of that, I never went to seek anyone outside of the relationship for sexual satisfaction or even emotional satisfaction. None of that, because even though I was going through this, I always knew that I love her and that we were going to get through this, right? Because I was going to work very hard at this. Another thing is that when you're a TI and you understand this program fully and you start to work through a lot of the issues that they have caused you, they will get the people around you, right, to attack you even more. Okay, so for instance, when they're they've been trying to get me to be quiet, shut up, which I wouldn't. Then they started targeting my children. They started doing staring campaign on my children, right? When that didn't work, then I guess they started using Pam, right? So when we're in the house, like when I was trying to be affectionate towards her, she would look at Ethan and then she would turn around, put her hands behind her back with her palm open towards me, you know, doing what is called a fixation drill, right? The palm hand fixation drill. Even recently, like for the past last week, I've been coming home every night, taking the bus. Even the week before, I think I only spent one night here because she was really really tired, and so I said okay, fine, what have you. And then yesterday, when she came in the house, I was about to leave, and she was sick and she sounded terrible, and my son was like, Daddy, uh, can you stay because I want to go to school early. So and plus she was sick, so I said okay, fine, I'll stay. You know, and this morning she was leaving, she was saying bye, what have you. I went to see her off, and again she started with the fixation drill. As she turned around to walk out the door, she used the palm of her hand, turned her hand behind her to where the palm of her hand was fully open, and so that I can see, right? So this is the things that I go through. Then we had conversations, text messages about our situation, and I had a conversation with her on Sunday, and she was like, "Well, I need help and this and that," and I said to her, wait a sec, that's my phone. Okay, so like I said, so we had a conversation Sunday, and she was like, "I need help." I said, well, "Listen, we're not together. It is best for me to go home in the evening, which I've been doing." And I said, "Look, I understand, you know, you're tired and stuff like that, but it's unfair to me to be here, okay, and still have this strong emotional feeling for you, okay. So that's kind of unfair to me. But for her, my feelings doesn't matter. It's whatever she wants, okay." And again, that's the narcissism within her. That's one of the traits, right? And you know, so she kind of like apologized and saying that I should have been uh, honest with you about my feelings and such and such. And I said, look, it's at a point where she's been too conditioned against me. Okay, and a lot of it has to do with me being targeted the way that I've been targeted. And on top of that, too, after helping her through school and she got the job that she got now, she just started, acting as if she was too good for me. Okay, so that also had a thing to do with it, and her wanted to always go out with her coworkers and all this stuff, and she's given all the male her male coworker her phone number and stuff like that, and I was like, listen, you have to show me some respect, okay? And so the two things that I've ever asked her for was to show me respect and to be courteous, okay? And she couldn't even do that, and I kept saying to her, I said, I keep telling you what to do to make the situation better, but you're not listening because you don't think that you're disrespecting me. Like, how do you think you're not disrespecting me when we're good in our relationship, and then I find out that you went to the movies with your ex lover and then lied to me about it? Now, if you didn't have anything to hide, you would have just said, "Hey, Nigel, I'm going to the movies with such and such." Because if you guys, like you said, are really friends, I'll accept that, even though I don't like it. But when you lie to me, when I ask you and you tell me you went to the movies with your girlfriend, but then I know something is wrong, because like I said, when you've been in a relationship for 11 years, and that's a long time, you know and understand the person that you're with. If you don't know and understand the person that you're with, that means you didn't really care about them and you wasn't listening. And I was constantly listening to her, but she wasn't listening to me, right? And then she was accusing me of not listening to her, right? And so why did she accuse me of not listening to her? Because she wanted to go out, okay, come home whatever time. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine, you know, but all I asked for her, just say, hey, give me a call to let me know you're on your way home, right? In a relationship, that's what people do because people care about the other person's safety. So if you're gonna go out late and if you're gonna go out and you're coming home late, you can at least send me a text. I'll say, hey, I'm in a cab. Hey, I'm on the train. I'm on my way home. Something, right? But she took that as me saying, she thinking that I'm trying to control her. I said, how am I trying to control you? I never stop you from going out with your male friends or your female friends. I never told you couldn't wear this or that. Okay, so how was I controlling you? Was it because you didn't want to be respectful and courteous towards me? And I said to her, I said the funny thing is that you go with your girlfriends, you'll call me, you let me know you're going with your girlfriends. Uh, your male friends, you wouldn't do it. I said you recently started doing it because I've started talking to you about this. Okay, and you only do it with one of your male friends. You don't do it when you're going with your ex lover, right? Okay, and then on a she was having dinner with one of her male friends. She didn't tell me, so I called and she was having dinner. She was like, I'm having dinner. I'm like, who are you having dinner with? She didn't want to say the person's name. And I was like, why you don't want to tell me the person's name? And she was like, well, because this is uncomfortable. I'm like, how is it uncomfortable? So again, when you call your significant other, they are on a date with a so-called male friends, you ask them who they're on a date with, they start feeling uncomfortable because, and I said to her, I said, you know what? You choose to protect that person's feeling over me, right? So this was what she did, what was happening. So even after that, like I said, I'm like, all right, fine, Then this last time, I found out that she had sent her ex-lover pictures of her in her underwear. Okay, and then on top of that, send a sexually suggestive meme, and uh, the response that was given by him and the response that she gave to his response, I was like, okay, this is it. I was like, I've talked to you about this already. You keep disrespecting me. And she was like, well, I don't see it as disrespecting you. I'm just flirting and this and that. I said, no, 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 that's disrespecting me. Because if we're good in our relationship and this is what you're doing, that's disrespectful. And she just straight up said to me, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think you're overreacting. And, that's that. And I said to her, are you going to even apologize? She was like, there's nothing for me to apologize for. I haven't done anything wrong. And I was like, wow. So this is the state of our relationship right now. It is over, but I stayed over here last night because she was sick, and again they started using her to target me because I didn't go home last night. So all through the night, just police sirens going off back and forth, police and the ambulance sirens going off all night, all throughout the night. Because I woke up in the middle of the night around 2 something to go use the bathroom, and immediately as I woke up, they started with the sirens. Okay, so like I said, I'm on the heavy remote neural monitoring. Okay, and then this morning, she's like, oh, I have such and such in the morning. I said, well, what does that mean? I said, you never get up early to be at the time that you say that you're going to be. Because when I come here in the morning on a Wednesday, when you have that particular event during the day, you always leave here after I come. So you could take the kids to school. I don't have to come here early in the morning. Yeah, and so I guess after I told her that is when she started targeting me, right? So again, the narcissist that doesn't get what they want. If they don't get what they want, they'll start to retaliate against you, right? Again, just like the architects of this program. Okay, so I want to bring you guys attention to this book by Mark Rich, and I think I've read some of this already. It's called the Hidden Evil PDF. Let me bring it up here. Okay, so this is for TIs to help you guys understand how you were put into this program. Because first you were selected, okay, then they had to run surveillance on you, and the surveillance was for information gathering. And let me just read and you guys can see. Surveillance. Surveillance is apparently part of a bogus investigation that never ends. The investigation may be done for reasons of national security. German and Russian security forces would often target the civilian population for the same reason. After a person is identified, dwellings surrounding them will be sublet and used as bases of operation and training. If the target lives in a house, the base will usually be the closest building to the house. If they live in an apartment, then the base will be in one or more of the surrounding apartments. There will be unusual patterns of occupancy with lots of people coming and going. Now, how many times we as TIs talked about this, right? You live in an apartment, they're constantly seeing new people coming in and out. Or you live in a house, you're constantly new people coming in and out of your neighborhood, right? And it's too frequent for it to be considered coincidence, right? So, vehicles and license plates, right? Now, you watch my videos, I talk about the license plates and them using numbers and stuff like that. So this is, again, this book talks about all this stuff, right? Vehicles and license plates used by the occupants of the bases may be periodically changed, according to McKinney and Moret. The people who move into these bases have been linked to the DOJ, CIA, and other federal agencies, as well as universities and government defense contractors. In order to target someone, it requires that the person be put under surveillance, proclaimed McKinney, so that their personality traits, their capacity to interrelate with people, their capacity for corruption or non-corruption, that seems to be a critical point, and even their religion factors into it. The information obtained by surveillance is used for no ethical reason other than to establish a harassment protocol, which will follow the targeted individual for the rest of his or her life, said McKinney. According to Moret, neighbors, friends, and family are then used to attack the targeted individual. This surveillance is apparently done using very sophisticated equipment which can locate people through walls. This equipment is used in combination with directed energy weapons and other non-lethals. Miniature microphones or cameras may be planted in your home, and through the wall infrared devices may be used to monitor your movement. Now, earlier in my targeting, I used to get every night I would get up in the middle of the night. Okay, usually around there are times that I would get up uh, almost every hour. Okay, on the exact same minute of that hour, which is the 32 minutes of the hour. Sometimes I'll get up 2 or 3 hours uh, in between, and again it would be the exact minute of that hour, which should be the 32-minute um, marker, right? So there is a variety of technology that can remotely monitor inside building and even record their physiological signature. More than likely, however, the surveillance technology which is now being used on targets worldwide is much more advanced and not publicly available. Character assassination. Targets usually experience character assassination, which is done to destroy their personal and professional lives. Half truths and lies are often strategically spread. The rumors circulate about people are apparently not petty but shocking and repulsive. They are CIA or Stasi type life damaging lies. Some of the people spreading these them may be acquaintances and are family members that have been recruited, lied to, intimidated, and blackmailed as informants. Speaking of family members, they use my family members to target me, my sister, recently, and my niece and my nephew that I live with. They were all adults, okay? Uh, they usually, when I come in the house, they're staring down at my crotch. Um, my sister will come into my bedroom, doing the hands behind the head, swiping down. When she turns around, she will uh, engage in the fixation drill of the palm of your hand, of her hand, right? Then they'll take things from me. They'll steal my stuff, okay? And so it's a lot, that I have to deal with as a TI, trying to raise children, trying to be in a relationship. It is very difficult, but they notice, and this is what they do to destroy and isolate the targeted individuals. Okay, and then also damage you too, psychologically and physically, with the use of these weapons, right? These directed energy weapons, these microchip for remote door monitoring, and they'll poison your food. Okay. More on the recruitment of family and friends will be covered in the Citizens Enforce Their Rule and Motivational Factors chapter. U.S. federal law enforcement has used these tactics to destroy people they either wanted to recruit as informants or those they knew they couldn't recruit and needed to destroy. CIA psychologist James Keener explained it was planned destructiveness. First, you check to see if you could destroy a man's marriage. If you could, then that would be enough to put a lot of stress on that individual. To break him down, then you might start a rumored campaign against him, harass him constantly. Reportedly, rumors are spread portraying targeted people as pedophiles, prostitutes, terrorists, mentally ill, drug addicts, etc. Now, I was driving home on Friday, not Friday, sorry, Saturday, because the vehicle was in the shop because they were, messing with the vehicle. Apparently, they went under the hood and removed one of the bolt and nut from the battery holder. So now the battery is not held in place properly because uh, um, that bolt is missing. Now, again, how did that bolt got removed? I didn't remove it. Okay, it's been there. So they went under the hood to take that out. Again, they will do these things, and you know, What if I hit a pothole and the battery moved to the point where it fell into the other parts of the engine? I could have gotten into a serious accident. On top of that, what if my kids was in the car with me? But these people don't care because this is what they do, and they do these things to make it look as naturally occurring as possible. But it is not naturally, it is not naturally occurring when someone opens up the hood of your car or whatever car you're driving, remove screws from that vehicle so that you can have an accident. Okay, imagine that, right? So let's go on. So CIA psychologist James Keener explained it was planned destructiveness. First, you check to see if you could destroy a man's marriage or relationship with your significant other. If you could, then that would be enough to put a lot of stress on that individual to break him down. Then you might start a rumor campaign against him, harass him constantly. Reportedly, rumors are spread. Okay, I read that. Okay, such right. So apparently, these rumor campaigns aid in recruitment. Dr. Rani Kildee wrote, "Deception is the name of the game, so recruits are told untrue, sinister stories of their victims to keep them motivated." Right? According to CNN, the Stasi used the exact same tactics. The agency was authorized to conduct secret smear campaign against anyone it judged to be a threat. The Russian KGB too, with its massive network of informants, would slander their internal target. These rumors may be propagated by multiple people who are controlled by the state. Apparently, not letting a targeted person become aware of these rumors is essential to their effectiveness. But again, sometimes they do let you know what these rumors are, right? Victor Santerio noted in his book Gaslighting: How Do You Drive Your Enemies Crazy? The essence of defaming your target with rumors, it is that it not get back to him. Okay? Sensitivity program, NLP, which I talk about. Some of the sensitivity tactics used by these groups are borderline subliminal attacks designed to create phobias. They are apparently based on neurolinguistic programming, right? But it's dark NLP. You can think of NLP as a very powerful tool that can be used to produce rapid, profound change. The parts of NLP that these citizens are directed to use includes anchors and triggers. The goal of these sensitivity programs is to condition people with damaging emotions which are linked to triggers such as objects, colors, movements, and sound. Once this is done, a target can be covertly injured openly in public. This may happen with or without the target conscious awareness. As I'll demonstrate, this can be brutal. There is a basic protocol that the perpetrators begin with, but the TI contributes to the modification, explained McKinney. She described a Pavlovian conditioning program that is used to get targeted people to respond to triggers, which are continuously built into the protocol. It's an ongoing process, she explained. These conditioning techniques, said Moret, are used during group stalking to make the TI or the targeted individual experience perpetual negative emotions. Self-help gurus use these methods to create positive emotional states and anchors them to movement, sound, or objects, which becomes the trigger that will invoke the emotion. Although this sounds complex, it is pretty simple in practice. It is done by creating a peak emotional state, then anchoring it by doing something repeatedly, which effectively anchors the emotions to whatever was done. And I talked about the repetition process, right? That when you start to see things being repeated in front of you, that is a conditioning uh, tactic, right? A stimulus which is linked to and trigger a physiological state is called an anchor in NLP, state Joseph O'Connor and John Seymour in their book NLP, Introducing NLP. They explain anchors can be set in a single instance if the emotion is strong and the timing is right. So a lot of times when me and Pam gets into arguments and I leave, when I walk to the bus stop, and I've shown videos of this, they will, because they know that I'm at a heightened emotional state, they will use that opportunity to introduce new forms of triggering and anchoring, right? Or use previous triggers to emotionally negatively affect me. Okay, so I'm gonna stop reading this right here, and because I do want to get to some of the video, I got a very busy day, and I think this is important that people understand this stuff. This is what's happening to us as TIs, not just people, but targeted individuals, that they know, you know, fully what has been done to them and what is being done to them. Okay, now I kind of wanted to get into the technology, the RF frequency and the microwave frequency, stuff like that, but I'll save that for another video, because this video is going to be very, very long if I do that. Okay, so I just want to get to the video because there's some things that I want to show. So this was last Saturday, right? Actually, yeah, actually last Saturday. Okay, and here I was it last Saturday or maybe the previous Saturday. What's the date? The 19th. That was the 19th. Okay, so um, that was the 19th. Let's see here. The 19th. I'm sorry, not the 19th, the 20th. All right. Yes, the 20th. It's 2019. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, so the 20th. So it was Saturday, right? That's July 20th, right? So the car was in the shop. I went to the bank to take money out, and I stand in line, and I want you to see how when these people engage in targeting against you, how their mind become like a singular hive-minded type, right? So there were two ATMs machine. Everyone is standing behind the ATM machine that's on the right. No one is using the ATM machine that's on the left, right? And I was there for a good 5 minutes before I started recording when I realized what was happening, and they were there to target me. That's why no one was going to the other machine. So you see this guy here. As I get up, he puts his hands behind his back. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you guys what he's doing. Okay, so again, it's the palm fixation drill, and as you see, he brings his arms back to the front, and you'll see he's slightly sticking his middle finger out, right? And again, this is again masking the harassment. Okay, then he puts it in his pocket. At least attempt to put it in his pocket, but no. So now you see the guy walks in, and he, uh, you know, put his. I don't know if he was biting his nails. Let's go back a little bit here and see. Okay. So, and again, this is all thing. So she walks in. All right. So let me start over. So she walks in. She's looking at me. Okay. You'll see the woman in the black also. She grabbed her earbuds. As she's bringing her hands down, you'll see again the middle finger is sticking out slightly because again it's the masking technique. Okay, then she starts staring at the palm of her hand. Okay, remember palm fixation drill. So the minute when I walk in there, they're waiting to see the perp that's going to walk in and that's going to set them off, right? And so it was the woman eating the icy. So now as I puts his hands behind his back because I got up. Okay, again, guys try to do the middle finger. Let's take this back because we got to get this. So you see here, he puts his hands behind his back, and the finger that he's using is his pointing finger. And I talk about the significance of that in my targeting. You guys got to go watch some of the videos. so you guys understand. Okay, and there you go. Trying to do that middle finger. Okay, so the guy walks in. What does he do? But he puts again the index finger, the pointing finger, in his mouth. All right. Okay, so now he's going to do. He's going to take his hands and let me see if I can. All right. So he's going to take his hands. He starts doing this, and then he places his thumb on his index finger. Okay, then he starts pinching his nose, touching his nose. So this woman asks if the other ATM machine is working. And I said to her, you can try it. You know, I was going to try, but I didn't want to skip the line because probably that's what they wanted so they can start an argument with me. You know, 'cause this is how they operate, right? Okay, so now, right, now the woman wearing all black, you'll see she starts scratching her hair, and you'll see she's sticking out her thumb and her middle finger, right, as she scratches her hair. And see how she's moving her middle finger back and forth as she's doing that. Okay, and check this out. Okay, watch this. Okay, I'm gonna pause it exactly where. Okay, hold up. When these two people started moving. Okay, so again, she again put her thumb on her pointing finger, and you'll see again the fixation drill with the palm of the hand, right? And now she looks over at me, okay? And what she's doing is that she's looking at my crotch. You see her eyes is facing downward? Because this is what they've been doing recently, right? People walking, looking down at my crotch. Okay? And now she's going to start to play with her hair. Okay? Now watch the woman in the back. Okay? She takes her glasses off, right? And then you'll see as she takes her glasses off, she looks up at the security camera. Okay? And then you'll see again, you'll see she raise her hands and she's going to place her thumb on her pointing finger like this, right? This is what Pam was doing to me this morning. Okay? I guess because, you know, I had recorded her while she was targeting me this morning. And, you know, she was, you know, maybe uh, trying to do that to uh, prevent me from, or try to send me a subliminal message to not do recording, because I haven't done a recording in about a week and a half, like I said. And, you know, they love that because, you know, they want to continue to do what they're doing without being exposed, right? But, you know, if I didn't do a video, it's because I'm just waiting. I'm just observing what it is that they're doing, how frequent they're doing it, and eventually when they start to get into a rhythm and a pattern, I start recording again because again, you know, when you profile the people who uh, participate in this other program, you get to understand how they work. When things are set into motion, sometimes there's just no stopping it and they just follow through, and that's the best time where you can record and get the proof and evidence that you need. So now the woman behind her in the green, you'll see she's doing this, folding her lips. Okay? So you'll see the woman now, right? So you see with her eyes looked up at the security camera, and again, she'll try to mask the hand signal with the hands behind her back as if she was, you know, fixing her bag. This is what they do with women, right? When they want to mask that psychological harassment tactic, that that trigger. Okay, and so you see she goes back again looking at the security camera. Now the woman behind her, she starts to look down at her feet. Why they look down at their feet, or sometimes while they look at their nails, because if they're wearing a particular nail polish color, whether it's orange, red, uh, blue, or white, those are the four main color that they use uh, to trigger me in terms of with women. Okay, and Pam does it too, and also gray, the color gray, right? So five, right? So whenever Pam gets a certain color, like let's say she come in the house and the color of her nails is green, right? She wouldn't look and try to use that particular color my targeting. But if it's red, if it's orange, if it's white, if it's gray, um, what the color I say, if it's blue, then she would do it. So those particular colors have a particular negative connotation or negative anchor that is uh, attached to it, right? So those colors act as triggers. Okay, so then you'll see the woman in black. You'll see her there. Let's see if I can get a good frame of her. All right, as this was happening, okay, you'll see that now she's going to do the four fingers, okay, as the woman looks down at her feet, right? Because they use colors and numbers, and they use their fingers to do it. So they'll use the number four, number three. Those are the two numbers that they use in terms of with their fingers, right? So now they're all looking at me. They're trying to be slick about it, and that's me dropping my cane. Okay. So now the woman in the black, now she starts looking at her nails. So she takes her phone in one hand and she starts looking at her nails in the other hand. Okay, and then the woman in the green, you'll see again, she's doing this. Yeah, that's me. I let them have it, but I'm not going to play the whole video, okay? But I let them have it. I may upload it separately. All right, so anyway, so this was a Saturday, and this next video here, this was Monday, going I had to go to my old high school because I want to go back to college, right? Just to, like I said, um, just to occupy my time, in this program, they're going to blacklist me, and I trying to get into a program where I can work for myself, because to be honest, as a TI, um, working for people is not something that we as TIs, um, you know, that I would want to engage in, because of the nature of the targeting, okay, and the fact that if they do let you work, it will be at a very low paying job. So you have TIs who have master's degree, and making you know minimum wage, and they're constantly harassed and they're driven out of that job. Either they leave or they get fired because of the harassment campaign. So it becomes very hard. So I think as TIs, that if we do go to school or what have you, is that we get into a program that allow us to start our own business, okay, and to work for ourselves. And it's going to be hard, so whether you're working for someone else or you're working for yourself, it's going to be hard. But if you're working for yourself, at least you don't have to deal with the heavy targeting on a daily basis of having to go to work, where you have, possibly hundreds of people involved in targeting you. Okay, so um, so I had called my old college and I said to them, hey, I want to start to register for the fall. What do I need? I used to be a student there, and they told me that I had to bring in my birth certificate, not birth certificate, sorry, my high school diploma, right? And so I called my mother and I said, hey, can you get my high school diploma? Which I left with her. All of a sudden now, she couldn't find it. It's not there. So I had to go down there to my old high school. And you guys will see here, let's go, as I cross the street, you'll see they're using the color white. So you see this guy at the corner, he's wearing white. This guy standing up next to this vehicle here, that's double park, he's wearing white. Okay, so he's looking in my direction. Okay, you can see if the light change, and he sees me turn the phone, he turns around, but he's gonna turn back to look. Okay, and the reason why I turn the phone so that you can get a better view of him. So you'll see him here, and again you'll see him. He's looking at me, and again he's doing this thing where he's placing his thumb on his pointed finger, right? The what do you call the index finger? And again, they've been doing that quite a lot lately. All right. You guys hear the fire trucks? Hope you can hear it. All right. So actually, was I going to? No, I actually going to Pam house. Um, let's go to the next video to be sure. I think I was going to Pam house at that time. Yes, I was going to Pam house. So I wasn't going to school yet. That video is to come. I mean, to my old high school. That's just come. So I get to Pam's block, guy parking, and then the homeless guy shows up. Okay. Okay, let's go back here. Now you see in the previous video I just played, there was a blue car in front of me, and the guy in the white shirt that was standing in the street, the car double park, that car was also a blue car. So you'll see in this instances they will be using the color blue. Okay, watch. Now, why would my mother call me and tell me about bringing my kids to church when she know that I no longer believe in her religion and her God, right? Again, this is where the religious aspect comes into it when I say that the people who are actively engaged in it, the creators of these psychological tactics, and who, not creators, but the people in charge of the program, right? And how they use religious organizations, religious groups, people who are religious to engage in the targeting. Because when you look at the Coercive Persuasion Program, and uh, religious organization are number one when it comes to using these kind of tactics on their members, all right, or to get people or to recruit people into their belief system, or their religion. Okay, so now at this point, because now they know that I caught on to what it is that they were trying to do. Okay, and remember, this is all um, planned out. All right. So remember, I talk about the color blue. So you see, the first guy comes out. He's wearing blue. Okay. Now here's the second guy. And as he's coming out, you see he's walking with his head down. You guys hearing the sirens? I hope you guys are hearing the sirens, right? All right. So let me pause that. So let's see what else. If I can remember anything else. Okay, yeah, there was another person that came back out. Was also of that building that was also wearing blue. Okay, there was them walking there. I'm not gonna play it because we gotta move on. But yeah, and that day, uh, in that morning, actually, they're using the color blue. So now this is the afternoon. I'm going home. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so it's the same day now. This is the 21st. Okay, you see as I make the turn, you'll see a police vehicle double park, lights flashing. Okay, the police officers just sitting in the vehicle. Okay, now let's go. And again, 2 blocks over, you'll see another police vehicle, double park, just sitting there. Again, lights is flashing. And again, remember too, I talked about whenever me and Pam get into an argument, there'll be a heavy police presence on my way to her house or after leaving her house. Okay, so let's get past some of this stuff. Let's go. Okay, I want to get to this point. So earlier during the day, and again, this is how they do triggers and anchors. Earlier during the day, all right, which I showed with the homeless guy, you know, going through the trash, picking up cans and bottles, and he had a shopping cart, right? So of course, again, they know my route that I take to go home, and so what they're going to do again, they're going to use the shopping cart. This is again to reinforce the anchor, right? Because the anchor is the thought, right, or the idea of being homeless. Okay, so this is what they're doing. All right, so let's go here. All right, we're coming up on the end of this portion of the video. Uh, so you'll see as I come to this intersection, you'll see these two young ladies, pay attention to the one on the right, and you see as I uh, drove off, she see her hands, she takes her hands, and she grabs her butt, right? So again, this is some of the things that they do. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Okay. On my way home, same same route. This is the next video after the previous one, and I want you guys to check this out. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's go back here. I don't want to miss anything. Um, okay, she didn't do anything. Um, okay, so you'll see these two guys coming down here. Again, they're both wearing white. Okay, so now he grabs his stomach. Okay, grabs his belt. Now he sticks his fingers in his ear. Stick his fingers in his ear again, because I'm sticking my fingers in my ear, so we're going back and forth. Then he looks at his nails or whatever it is he has something in his hands. He'll stick his finger in his ear again. Okay, at this point he's looking over at me because we're going at it. He's doing that. I'm doing the same thing too. And then you'll see he takes his palm of his hand, right, with his four fingers, puts it to his ear to cover his ear. Okay, and then the guy again in the white is another guy here in white. He was standing there. After he did that, he turns around and he walks away. Okay. All right. That's me getting parking. Let's move on to the next video. I'm trying to make this quick. I don't want this video to be too long. All right. So the next day, I think this might be the day that I went to my high school. So the 21st, that was a Sunday. So the three previous video, that was Sunday. Okay. Yes, this is where I was going to my old high school. Okay. All right. Let's get to. So I got parking, and next video you'll see I'm walking across the street, and guess who shows up? Okay. Why? Because I'm under surveillance, and so they know exactly where I'm going. So they're going to show up to the location that I'm going at. I mean, in this case, it's my old high school, so they're going to try to make it legitimate, right? But come on, this is at the exact time that I reached there, that I'm walking to go to the school, and that they'll show up, right? Again, they're not fooling anybody. So, uh, so now let me just go. As I turn into the school, you'll see a student standing there uh, doing this. Um, as I approach. She's doing this, looking at me. Okay. So now I went there to get a copy of my transcript, and went inside. Uh, they told me that the person that is in charge of the record keeping was not there. I said, okay, fine. I came back the next day. Same thing happened. The police and everything uh, went inside. They told me that the person left, and I went early. Okay, they told me that the person left, so I asked them for called. I called for about an hour and a half, and all I got was a busy tone. Right, so I went down there, and eventually I got it. So it took me 3 days to get my transcripts. Right, tell you they make it hard. On top of that, I went to my old college yesterday to register, and then I found out they told me that well I had a bill, right? And the last time I went to that school was in 1995, so that was a long time. Okay, you're talking about 95, over 20 years, right? Over 20 years, and they got a bill for me. I'm like, wow, okay. So first they told me it was like $218. Then they came back at them, it was like $410. I'm like, wow, okay, all right, whatever. So I guess I got to pay in order for me to try and register, and then I got to see about getting financial aid, to go to school. But I know they're going to make it difficult because this is what they do. Okay, this is what they do. All right, anything that you want to do, they will try to prevent you from doing it, either by psychological threats or trying to frustrate you. You know, uh, you know, by using their recruits who work in those establishments in academia, as well as students. So it's students, security guards, faculty members, they all participate in the targeting. No matter where you go to a hospital, there'll be patients, doctors, nurses, you know, um, security guards, the, what do you call them? I don't want to say custodians, right? That's what's going to happen. Okay, so all right, that day, same day now after leaving my old high school, went over by Pam, and let me. Okay, so now again, in the route that I've taken, they're gonna place police vehicles parked up with their lights flashing. Okay, okay, so let's get to the corner, and I want to show this part right here. Okay, it's very, very important. So you see these two ladies crossing the street. At this point, you'll start to see they do the hand signal. So this woman again scratching her head. Okay, in this case, what she's doing, you see the way how her thumb is tucked into her hands, and the pointed finger, the index finger, is going to swipe back right there, touching her ears. Okay, and then you see the other woman right next to her. Okay, covering her mouth. Why? Because you see this truck, this yellow truck. What number does it have on it? The number 4. Now watch as both of them turn to look at the number 4 in the truck while still doing the hand signal. Okay, and then when the truck passes, she looks up at the window. Okay, and then they move out of frame. Okay, so man, I hate when I do that. Okay, um, all right, so you'll see as they're crossing, as I drive off, now you'll see the woman on the right, she puts on her hat. Now, check this out. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Okay? So, because, again, they've been using Pam to target me because, they've been doing things to destroy our relationship, to break us apart. And again, because of the uh, microchip implant in my brain, the remote neural monitoring. Now, what they're doing now, right, is so now when I go over there to get the kids, they're telling me, oh, if kids, because again, they want you to act in a negative way, right? So if I stay home, they're like, oh, we want to target you. That's bullshit. They're talking with my family. But again, this is to try to get to isolate you away from people so that they can keep you isolated while conditioning you even more, right? They're breaking down yourself, your psyche, your inner self, to break down your relationship within the people in your community so they can say, okay, he's a loner. And then they can do some really frightening programming, okay? Detrimental programming, right? So you'll see, again, because you'll see in my targeting sometimes what they'll do is that they have people wearing the camouflage military hats, and again, subliminal message that it's the military that's involved in this. Well, we all know that, okay? The military is the ones who and the CIA who develop, funded and research and develop these microchips, right, for the purpose of remote neural monitoring. Okay, so then what you'll see now is, again, as you walks across the street, the light changes. Okay, watch. Now she puts her hat on. Okay, and what that hat is, and as you can see here, what the hat represents, it's the military, Department of Defense, right? Um, the DoD, and that. Okay, so now, because I am going by Pam, doing what I'm supposed to do, to go pick up the kids, take care of the kids, whatever, then they're saying that, well, okay, well, now we're going to we're going to have you on the remote neural monitoring, and we're going to microwave you and your kids, and this is what's happening, right? Right. So this is what they do. Okay, and then you'll see the guy. He's in the green shirt. See how he points at me, right? Look, so let's slow it down to let him go. Okay, what he does is that, let's do this again, right? So you'll see him open up his hands. Okay, again, that's the palm fixation drill. So let's go to the next video. I'm supposed to be out of here, but I gotta finish this video. All right, so I'm heading home, and again, what they'll do that they'll people at the intersections, and you'll see what he's doing. Again, he's taking his thumb, placing it on his index finger. Same thing Pam was doing to me this morning. Whenever she walks in front of me, she would do that. She would take her thumb, put it on her index finger, or pointing finger, and every time she turns to face me, this is what she would do. Okay, let's see here. Um, okay, so now you see another perpetrator at the corner. As he walks to the corner, he looks at me and started playing with his beard or whatever. But this is what these people do. Another one in the corner, wearing white. Okay, let's move on to the next. Oh wait, before we move on to the next, I forgot this. Let me tell you that moringa tea is working. Helps to help you have mental clarity. Helps to improve, your cognitive ability, as well as having anti-inflammatory agents, as well as antioxidant. Okay, so as you see here again, let's go back. So again, you'll see this young woman there, and then see how she now sticks her hands in her ear, turn, looks towards me. Okay, then she takes her hands and place it over her forehead. Again, the palm of her hand, right? She's gonna place over her forehead, and then swipe her hair back, leading to the fixation drill of the palm of her hand. Okay. Okay. Where was I? Okay, what's that? All right. So this was Saturday. Had to again bring the car to the shop so it can be worked on after the mechanic had the car parked on the. I parked the car on the street and he was working on it for me. Then all of a sudden, you'll see this guy shows up, right? Right. So I tell you, no matter where you go as a TI, now on this block here, there's uh, fencing. There's like one house. Now there were people selling water and other stuff, but they were further down. But they always got to get that one person to come to stand right next to you if you're a TI to try and target you, right? And master targeting. Okay? So, not long after that, who do you think shows up? Okay? Who do you think shows up? Okay? Now, I don't know why he turned on his sirens because there was barely any car in front of him. Okay? Okay, there was just one car, okay, that was in front of him. Okay? And you think they're finished? No, because about a minute later, another vehicle. Okay? Right. Now, all while this is happening, about 2 blocks up, you had two fire trucks that was at the light, okay, with their lights flashing, okay, and I guess they must have gotten word that I was recording because they turned off, okay. Okay. So again, this is what they do, typical targeting stuff. But this is what happened during the past week and a half or so, and just letting people know exactly what's happening and what's being done. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video.